Hello to everybody who might be watching this later on YouTube or you're on my Twitch with me right now. It's been a very long while and welcome to Coteries of New York by night because I can never locate normal streaming times. That's entirely on Marta. Marta's really bad with it. I had a pretty nasty eye infection for the longest time. This is probably the first time when reading is comfortable. I kind of had to continue working with it. So I still had to stare at the computer screen, but yeah, reading wasn't very comfortable with it for a very long time, and this game is mostly reading. I'm not wearing eye makeup because, well, eyes still irritated. I am wearing my glasses though because, well, eyes still irritated. Yay for explanations! Anyways, we said that we're gonna be doing Tamika and we're gonna be doing D'Angelo because this is second playthrough. We did the Tamika's mission for tonight, which means that now it's time to do D'Angelo. When we're done with both of them, we're gonna try and go with Faith and Myth. Didn't finish it the last time. I kind of walked away from him. Would kind of wanna sort of finish it. If we had time after that, hope would be an idea as well. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Qadir al-Asmai has a secret associate investigating the murders, Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. I don't like it how Qadir's full name is Qadir al-Asmai because I just want to read it as Samai. Like, all ass doesn't read right. All ass, like Qadir's just all ass. Alsa sounds a lot more natural. As you make your way down Clinton Street, Klingon Street. Oh. We're renaming streets in New York to Klingon now. Honestly, I would be kinda up for it. The incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. I have slightly cold coffee with me because I make myself coffee and then I let it sit. And I make the not very quality variety and I drink it black, so it kinda tastes like brown. But I got used to it because I am weird, I think. I even have my... There we go. Hello, Restream chat. Please work. Thank you. Need to make sure that it actually shows up and does a thing. Showing up and doing a thing sounds like an important thing for a chat to do. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of Hudson, make all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. That pavement in 4K. We gotta stare at that pavement in 4K. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank. Forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. I don't know why, but I thought that this place would be, like, covered in homeless people. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Don't walk around with your mouth open! What's wrong with you? Are we that amazed by absolutely everything as a Toreador that we're going around like, I mean, we're not breathing, so strong smells can get up our nostrils, but it shouldn't be settling down on our throat like that, so I gotta assume that it's just like, Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. It looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large, empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to the mezzanine. Most likely an office space, and then you see it, a faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds and an overflowing ashtray and paper scattered across a wooden desk. If this guy is, like, doing proper detective work, I wanna, like... I have questions. If he's only serving kindred, then how does he have enough clientele to make a living out of it? Because if he's only serving kindred, then this part he's probably only serving Kadir. At which point he could have just been directly hired by Kadir. It sounds like a smarter way of going about it. And if he's not serving only kindred, then how do you expect people to find you here? Do you at least have a mailbox? Just like, put your inquiries here, especially about murders, sort of thing? Suddenly it hits you, the nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess, took a wrong turn at the third silo?
Guy, if you're playing detectives, don't you want people to actually visit you? I'm assuming that you're only serving kindred, which would kind of mean that you might want to meet more kindred to serve, but I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah, let's... My ring is really loose recently. Have I been losing weight? Yep. Sure, it's not right. It might be because the environment's cold. When the environment's cold, your limbs kind of shrivel. Yep, I'm gonna present some. Driven by a strange hunch, you open your mouth. You hear yourself talking, but the words are not yours. Oof, I'm hungry now. They seem to be coming from the deepest recesses of your memory. A movie you saw as a child. You don't know why, but it seems oddly appropriate. I know what you're thinking. This spunk ain't got nothing on me. I'm sitting pretty on a loaded Cold Detective special. 5 in the cylinder, 1 in the chamber. And I only need the 1. As corny as it sounds, the stranger seems oddly receptive to your tough guy monologue, so you decide to bump it up a notch. Focusing your will, you boost your aura, filling the room with your presence. Your voice becomes smooth, oozing with charisma. A regular Sam Spade, you yourself can't help but feel a sense of awe. For yourself! Wow! Wow! We're so Toreador that we're actually amazed by ourselves right now. How does that work? Hopefully the stranger feels the love that you're feeling for yourself right now. But then there's that nagging feeling. What if there's more to this guy than he lets on? What if he got me right where he wants me? Maybe I should hear what he has to say. Okay, me. What's wrong with me? Jesus! Is that right? Yeah, so how about we drop the tough guy act and talk like adults? You can always shoot me once we're done. A few 10 seconds the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. You got a point there, kid. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described him, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity, but this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing the gun at you. So what brings you to my humble office? I'm trying to actually, like, perceive the Nosferatu-ness. I mean, he didn't go bald. So, good for him, I guess. I mean, I know that by V5 standards, not everybody does, but, interestingly enough, he doesn't even have fangs. So he looks pretty human to me. Then, that is an extra shirt that he's wearing, so he doesn't have gangrene all over his body. He's actually wearing 3 shirts. This is weird. Let's see. So he still has hair. I mean, his jaw is screwed, but it's not that bad. And we sure he's Nosferatu and not like a Samedi or something? Because it's almost like one of his cheeks is rotting away. Like it's going missing. If that continues, I wonder where that will go. And yeah, his face skin also looks like it might rot and fall away. I do like his eyes though. I always like Nosferatu eyes. Very bright, very shiny. His eyes are red this time. So what brings you to my humble office? Are you D'Angelo? That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jin, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. I'm giving you this pointless exposition in case you got to friendship status at some point in my life. Now I suggest you tell me what this is about, otherwise I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office. I can see why Coterie keeps you. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid, but hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street, so let me get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however... I know, I'm here to help. Do you now? You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me. I rarely speak to myself. If I have something out loud to say, like an incantation or something, I will do it very, very, very quietly. Well, I mean, outside of recording videos, of course. I'm trying to figure out what reason would a person have to actually mouthing their words for their inner monologue, except for the protagonist to catch snippets of it. Because it smells to me like convenient writing right here. I understand if you accidentally say something to yourself, or you're like a Malkavian like Hope and you're openly are talking to yourself. But he is a Nosferatu. There's no reason why he has to be speaking out loud to himself. I can't piece together why would you ever have an inner monologue that's not inside your head, that you're actually mouthing, but you're mouthing it quietly? How does that work? Why would you do this? Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. I'll offer him a light. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash the lighter before his face. That can be seen as aggressive and kind of scary. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cigar as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Could Sophie please give me some clothes? I've been called a used car salesman from a Nosferatu and it actually hurts my self-esteem. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. Could use an assistant, someone to take the notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows, if you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement. Sounds good to me. Sure it does, kid. I'm the one who said it. Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in the layman's term, who do you work for? Oh, Sophie. For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu dubs a look of genuine surprise. So you're the one, huh? The fledgling the Toreador dame spared? Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving. So you know how using our abilities makes us, like, super hungry, right? You just obfuscated for absolutely no conceivable reason. I mean, sure, it's cool. Like, let's say you woke up a vampire. Like, let's say I got turned into a Toreador. Would never, absolutely never ever happen because nobody would be that enchanted by me, but let's say they did. I would be like celerating all around the place going, wee, look at me go, this is so fast! For quite a while, and they would be like, you're literally just wasting blood right now, and I would be like, I know! This is cool. You're in the worst spot if you're Tremere, because they actually have to teach you blood magic, you practically can't do shit on your own. But once you learn it, you would just be like, tiny, tiny firebolt, chuck! It would be like, please stop doing that. That is fire, it is dangerous, and you're wasting blood, and you would still be like, tiny, tiny firebolt, chuck! It wouldn't make a big one, that's a waste of resources, but still. Alright, Moonlight's burning, let's get cracking. With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way to West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration, he is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take the particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequent streets. This is, there's definitely a method to his madness. Well, yeah, he's a Nosferatu. Oof, text, that is mean. Also, he does look human enough to pass for a human. I do like the flies over here. Maybe I am turning a bit Toreador because I'm like, oh, look at all the backgrounds. Eventually, your leprous guy takes a sudden turn off Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Wait. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him, drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So what can you tell me? Well, let's start from here. Definitely a vampire attack. Doesn't mean if there are bite marks or not. If there weren't any bite marks, hey, they could have licked it clean. Ew. Yeah, A and 2, what a great system. 2. If it's Tremere, they could have done their hand-wavy bullshit and just like pulled off their blood supply through their skin. That doesn't leave any bite marks. So it's definitely a vampire. So let's start over there. You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Do they still do those? Rocky uppy the corpsey? How long do they leave those for? Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. And you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Definitely vampire. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The blood speaks," in big, crooked letters. Look up to D'Angelo, the Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. How come there's no blood? Good eye, kid. It's the details that count. Given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that the killer definitely was Kindred. Bingo. Only a Kindred could drain a human this quickly, this quietly. But not just any Kindred. Take a look at that graffiti. What do you think it means? Yeah. Blood draining would be a very awkward thing. And I have to imagine that even the Kindred doing it, which it should still be a very awkward thing. Because it's not like it's a squeezy bottle where you can just squeeze a person. I don't actually know how fast you could bleed out if you cut yourself in the throat. Probably really fast. Actually, let me look like a creeper and Google that. How fast do people bleed out? How much blood can you lose before the pass out? That's a good one as well. You can lose quite a bit of blood without expecting any side effects or complications. That's nice to know. Ooh! You start to feel mild side effects such as nausea when your blood loss reaches 30% of your total blood volume. That's fucking a lot. That's like 2 liters. Okay. At about 40% you will get really disorientated and start passing out. You will die at about 3 liters of blood loss. That's nice. That's nice. Now I know. Now I know. But if you're a weirdo, you can lose like 2 liters and still be completely fine. But die at 3. But anyways, yeah. If you cut your own throat, like, completely, you will apparently bleed out in about 5 minutes. Which, to be fair, is quite fast. If you're cutting your own something else, like a limb. It's a lot longer. But, yeah, I suppose... Now I feel really awkward because I'm doing research that either a writer or a serial killer would do. Because I'm all like... If you're profusely bleeding, not breeding. Bleeding from your neck. What would that be in output volume? I mean, if you were a vampire, would you even, like, pull it any faster? Would that be about as fast as you can swallow? I feel like that's a good question. Because if that is just about as fast as you can swallow, then the time to bleed anyone out, whether or not you're undead, would be 5 minutes. It wouldn't make a no difference made here. If you can make it faster, then yep, the fact that you're undead would count. But that was a nice read. That was a nice read to me. Take a look at graffiti. What do you think it means? It's meant to throw us off? Nah, I can see why you would think that, but look at how crooked the letters are. Barely legible. You can't fake something like that. Someone was very serious, very scared. It definitely meant something to them. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? I don't know. I don't know. Why are those the only 3 options? What does it matter? I would only identify it as a Tremere if I could. If I knew that they specifically did the blood pulley thing, then I would know that it's definitely Tremere. Thin Bloods? Because they were scared? And bright neon letters. A fully fledged kindred would use his powers to lure the victim somewhere out of sight, and they certainly wouldn't stick around for the shitty art project. Shit, looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit. Thin Blood have a primogen? No, Larson, the bicycle repairman. Of course, the Thin Blood fucking primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could definitely make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the Masquerade, it would put him in one hell of an awkward position, and I mean shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness the other primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is. When did that happen? Is this like exclusive to New York or something? When did Camarilla was all like, yeah, Thin Bloods get a seat at the council? What did I miss? Why is this in nobody's tabletops games? Oh, now I have to ask a question. Oh, there we go. There we go. I am asking Lore by Night Discord. Very specifically. Since when do Thin Bloods have a primogen? Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, Nosferatu stops. It almost seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking 2-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid, we gotta be gentle about this. I'm taking woven gloves, soft cushions, you rang, my lord, gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know. Sounds like you do have some sort of history. Sounds about right, but that's a story for another time. Right now, let's stick to why we're here. Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. Okay! Sudden loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as dogs barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. I'm eating that. I am eating that. A kid? Shushing him with a gesture, you plunge into the shadows and crunch behind a well-trimmed hedge. True to his word, D'Angelo follows your lead, though he doesn't seem too happy about it. You best not be thinking what I think you're thinking. You tense up, waiting for the man to get closer. When he does, you spring from the darkness, grabbing both of his arms and sinking your teeth into his neck. His blood gushes into your mouth, thick with surprise and laced with just enough fear. It's all so quick and yet so sublime. The man goes limp, his best friend does not. The dog goes off on a barking spree. It will make a dead man cover his ears. You tear away from your victim, ready to let the beast loose on the hapless canine. D'Angelo, however, is quick to curtail your murderous appetite. The detective approaches the animal, looking straight into his eyes. He mumbles something under his breath, an oddly melodic whisper. Mesmerized by the chant, the dog grows quiet and lays on his back, allowing D'Angelo to pat his belly. Suddenly you notice lights turning on in some of the houses. D'Angelo gives you an angry look and points to the unconscious man in your arms. Get him out of sight now! Oh, whoopsie daisy! Oh, whoopsie daisy! We're not good at this. Heeding his advice, you hoist the man over your shoulder and carry him to the nearest bush. Just as you're getting up, a very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in turtleneck approaches D'Angelo. He doesn't seem happy to see him. Are you fucking insane? I mean, I know you are, but this is nuts even by your standards, D'Angelo. Aww. That's why. He's not a Malkavian. He's a thin blood. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I feel so bad for him. I legitimately feel really bad for him because he even warned us to stay away. Because nobody likes him. Oh. Thing is, he still lives with his family. At least he has that. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. Sorry, we needed to get your attention. By feeding right next to my house? What the hell is wrong with you? Get out of here. Oof. Jesus Christ. Relax, I didn't bleed him dry, unlike your friend at Red Hook. Is that supposed to mean anything to me? D'Angelo, what's going on here? If that man is passed out, he's like 10% of blood loss away from actual death, because apparently you pass out about 40% missing and about 50% missing, you die. You will experience serious side effects from about 20 to 30% missing, like we have learned from Berta reading the medical document we found online. Google didn't ask her questions as to why she's Googling it. The FBI must be like, wow, that's either a murderer or a writer. And I'm like, definitely a writer. Definitely not a YouTuber. It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Bullshit! A Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade? Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching, trying to find a scapegoat. Get in your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo, you think I don't know who you're working for. Oh. Oh. We have the option to bully the poor thin blood. Because as a newborn kindred, they're much more powerful no matter how old they are. I feel so bad for them. But on the other hand, once again, if you're just like a smart player in World of Darkness, like I said before, just like head out into the small towns, away from everything, right? And some of the Thin Bloods can even walk in the light. You can just lead a completely normal existence outside of the fact you can't eat food. Completely normal. Just have a good time. Just have a good time. And help us clear your name. What have you got to lose? Everything! I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just an excuse they need to get rid of me. What if it turns out one of yours did it, and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that? Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. Deal. Good. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go back to my family. With that, Larson retreats to this elusive safety of his own. He decided it's best to move along. How old is he? If this is like his family, if he has like a wife, kids, and he must have been dead just for a couple of years. Does his wife know? Do his kids know? How did he... Do all of them die? Is that it? Do all of the... Why would they slaughter Kindred? And why would they slaughter Thin Bloods and then, like, stop slaughtering Thin Bloods and offer them a council position? I'm sorry. What am I missing here? It must have been a new thing. It must have been offered recently. Must be a pretty new thing. And if he's the oldest one around, then that would mean the rest of them died. Because he can't be that old. Or he just remarries. For funsies. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns to you. Hello, Jade! It's going okay. We haven't progressed all that much. I figured out how much blood you can lose before dying. The answer is 50%. At 40%, you'll pass out. About 30%, you'll get some really negative side effects, but about 20%, you enter a hemophylactic shock or whatever. So, you can actually be that very weird cookie where you lost like 2 liters of blood and you're fine. But you can also like lose 1.5 liter of blood and not be fine. So there's that. There is definitely that. I looked super weird Googling it. We just attacked a guy next to Thin Blood Primogen's house. Which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Thin Blood Primogen, what? And we made him pass out, which then we're like, relax, I didn't drain the guy. Took 40% of his blood, mate. Yeah, good to know, right? Now to the FBI, I look like I am either a writer or a murderer. We also know that if you slit somebody's throat, they're gonna bleed out in approximately 5 minutes. D'Angelo was all like only a kindred could, like, suck a person dry so fast and quietly, and I'm like, I don't know. If you slit somebody's throat and their blood like gushed out, would the speed be fast enough for you to be swallowing it? Because if it's kind of slow, then yeah, you can like supplement it by actually physically draining. But if the flow is kind of fast, then you wouldn't be contributing to that, meaning that a knife murderer or kindred would be killing a person about the same speed. Yeah, I know, right? Remember that guy that I thought was totally a Malkavian Robert? Thin Blood Primogen. This is his house. He has a family. Like, a live family. Like human family. Which would mean that he can't be kindred for all that long. Like a maximum, maybe 10, 20 years, maybe maximum. Which would mean that they, if that's the oldest Thin Blood, that would mean the Thin Blood's in New York. Yeah, it sounds like a Masquerade violation to me too, but that would mean the Thin Bloods in New York kept on dying. Right? Like being killed, like being gotten rid of by the Camarilla. What's the story between that stopping to happen and their oldest, which happens to apparently be Robert, being granted the position of Primogen? I wanna know. And I went to Lore by Night Discord and Go Coteries of New York spoilers. It says that Thin Bloods have a Primogen on the council in New York. Since when is this a thing? Is this just a New York thing? And one person replied to me with, how dare they? And I feel that with my being. How dare they? Because, that's... Is this a thing? I don't think that this is a thing in V5. Did I miss a thing? Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm in a tall, sweaty glass. I had a drink of a man walking his dog in front of the Thin Blood Primogen's house. But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression, like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap, bullets not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates private dick from just any old dick. Are you sure? I mean, that dog was waking the whole neighborhood up while I was eating a man and then positioning him inside the bushes. That, like, yeah. Oh no, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at my office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back toward you. And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. Well, I will see if Sophie's place has a notepad, okay? If she doesn't, would she be all that mad if I just used one of the books that she uses for, you know, prettiness sake? If you know how a bunch of books go, this page has been left intentionally blank just to not mess with the book's structure. There's at least a couple 100 books there. I could just like rip that one page out of all of them. And because Sophie never actually reads them, I bet she wouldn't notice. Gregory knocks on your door of the apartment. I forgot why. Oh yeah. Miss Langley wants to see me. What if I don't want to see her? Best keep that to yourself, I think. Yeah, let's go and talk with Langley. Hope you get a good few nights. I'm happy to see you. Thank you for coming. Have a request. Make a delivery. Yep, flash drive. The thing where we're looking for Kaiser now. Why do you need to trade with Kaiser? Can't you just request the information giving your connections? Oh, all we need to do is to hire a moving truck, which apparently you can do on like a 24-hour basis. But, so maybe this Saturday, maybe? Fingers crossed, but my husband's still trying to, like, get rid of shit. And he got rid of, like, 3 bags worth of shit, today. But his health condition is really bad. So we're not hiring a moving truck until we can figure that out. So, the back room is just like full of boxes that we're emptying out. I even said that, look, I want to take my computer, my jewelry. I have a single photo album that I went back home and collected a while ago. Like, my grandmother actually, like, gave me some baby pictures, so I have one curated album of my life. That's all I have. So jewelry, that. Then I have, you can't really see it, but there's like a box full of magic books, right, like underneath my legs. It's not just magic books, it's philosophy books. It's effectively everything that I've been doing in my free time recently. And I bought a basket just for that when I was buying the books. So I have a basket with that. It's a pretty awesome candle, honestly. So I have like such awesome things as like a tarot deck and Black Mirror. A really nice smelling candle. All in one spot. A lighter. A compass, in case I ever forget where north is. Yeah. Everything is just like in one nice place. So I want to take that. I want to take my computer, my table, my clothes. Probably shoes. Shoes are probably a good idea, but the point that I'm making is that I'm gonna be throwing out majority of everything. Well, outside documents. Documents are important, but like old PC parts, like journals from my university time, solve those notebooks, everything can just, I don't have the patience to try and sort it, and it's not like important shit. It's not my diploma. Diploma's like important documents. So everything would just go. So that's my side sorted. Oh. Oh, my cat fell off. Yeah, somebody just posted on Lore by Night Discord. Prince Panhard has a soft spot for thins. That's why Larson is the primogen. If it was anyone else, it would be kill on sight sort of deal. Okay, so she likes him. Yeah, we tend to like collect shit because when things break in our house, we don't tend to buy new stuff. We tend to just repurpose old stuff. So like one thing will have like a working, like half a working heatsink, and you're like, okay, that has half a working heatsink. We can repurpose that. And Kaiser don't care about my or anyone's position. He considers information as valuable as blood and makes it a point to never share it for free. He only deals with people who have something to offer, but trust me, I have more than enough means to grab his attention. Okay. Oh! We can auspex in here. Of course we're gonna auspex in here. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up on details that would help you with locating Kaiser. Initially, the noise from the nearby amusement park floods your mind and momentarily stuns you. Child's crying, the loud bang of a car door closing, the bright old-school logo of a cyclone roller coaster all overload your senses, and you have to lean on a nearby booth to stay upright. You regain control, start walking, listening in, taking in the sights and smells, looking for something, anything to point you in the right direction. A man talking on his phone, a snippet of conversation. Clear the red stuff from the whoa, red stuff from the garage. Yep, that would be the correct one. tidied up in general. The limos fit, for sure. Come on, don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to. Yeah, I know I am. It's a privilege, Mr. K, sir. Hey, what you looking at, huh? Well, you're just the guy I was looking for. Dare to call your boss again for me? Huh, no, I think you're heard wrong. Piss off. You know what, I'm gonna be nice this time. I remember being mean and Kaiser helps us in the end. Don't try and jump at the literal light, you weirdo. Jesus, my cat nearly flew off into the light fixture. He jumped on my table and he was just like, light bulb. There. And you're like, cat, I need that light bulb. It's literally a light bulb hanging from the ceiling. What are you trying to do? Now let's be nice this time. Listen, I was sent here by Sophie Langley. She has something for Kaiser. I need to contact him and hand it over. Nothing more to it. Don't know her and told you already. Don't know who Kaiser is either. Fuck it, stay right here. Sorry to bother you again, boss. Yeah, I know how much you need your alone time. That sounds very nice. There's somebody here who wants to see you. There with Langley? Sophie Langley, yeah. A string of loud obscenities filled the phone. The man winces and pushes it away from his ear, and then the call stops. Almost immediately a chime. The Count's laugh from Sesame Street? Wow, announces a new message sent to the phone. Is, on his way. Don't go anywhere. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops near where you're waiting. Door opens an invitation. The inside of the limo. Yep. Kaiser's here. And this time we're a lot friendlier. So the waste of good blood outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? Got something for me? What do you mean a waste of good blood, sir? Have you determined him to be tasty? Because, I mean, sir, that is his blood. He was born with it. You know, maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe you're just born with it. That sort of thing. He was definitely born with his blood. You pass on the flash drive. Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago. Tell Sophie to deals off. Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe you're born with it. Maybe it's in your blood. And maybe it's Maybelline. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, we are pretty. We may as well use it, right? Abuse them though, all them powers. You take on the most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniacal monster. Come on, man, don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It would mean a lot to me. The sound Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. Pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if anything other than that. Oh wow, look at me, I'm so pretty and well spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? Oh come on, I was just trying to be all persuasive and pretty. Would it have worked better if it was a girl? Yeah, whoopsie daisy. Don't try to charm Kaiser, apparently bad idea. I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur into the wounds. Rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight, plus I hate turkeys, they disgust me. So, if you say you plan to maim somebody, do you, like, actually have to go through with it, like, one-to-one? Like, I'm gonna cut your tongue off and I'm gonna shove it inside a turkey? Now, okay, I did the cutting the tongue bit, but I don't really have turkeys. Hey, Ghoul, can you go and find me a turkey? I need a live turkey to shove a tongue in. And I hate turkeys. You person without a tongue, sit around and wait for me to get a turkey to shove your tongue in it. So I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you, maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it up her cunt. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out. Yeah. Okay. Okay, he's gonna call us. He's gonna call us, and we're gonna do a thing. But anyways, it's Tamika's turn again, and I was kind of feeling for her story. She's so vulnerable. A vulnerable gangrel baby. Gangrel baby that's older than us, but I still feel really bad. It's like, she was like legitimately like, my brother's not gonna be around for forever. I'm legitimately trying to like make a soulmate. So there's that. A tapping on the window, a small grayfish bird flying off, a small piece of paper left on the windowsill. Prospect ASAP. As you open the blinds, you're able to spot a small grayish bird flying off into the night. Looking down, you notice a small piece of paper on the windowsill. Prospect, yep. Third time's the charm, you think to yourself as you once again cross the gate of Prospect Park and head for Tamika's Haven. You're surprised you find her out in the open, sitting on the lawn, surrounded by a host of woodland creatures, birds and squirrels mostly. Ah, she's just like Snow White! The critters each patiently await their turn as she flicks seeds at them. It looks almost whimsical in a twisted sort of way. Are you holding up? Well enough, all things considered. Scatters the remaining seeds onto the grass and hops onto her feet. I've been doing some digging. The Inquisition has a safe house up in Manhattan. I think that's where they're keeping him. The scarred one, I mean. I want to pay them a visit, kill that thing, and as many of those SI bastards as I can along the way. It's not a rescue operation. It's a murder operation. Ah. Ours definitely a really terrible idea. Yeah, it's a murder operation. So let me get this straight. You want to attack a stronghold full of well-armed goons who have trained for years to kill them. Are you okay, Cat? Are you... You keep on running around like crazy. Are you okay? Up. Yep. Ow. Whoa. There goes Cat. There goes Cat. Ow. Cat didn't want to be picked up. Cat wanted to be all fast. So Cat was all fast. But either way I'm going. What the hell I'm in? Who wants to live forever, right? Well, actually, I wouldn't mind. And on that note, why are you all in big popular cities where you're competing with one another? Take a leaf out of the old people's books. Like, you know, old Clan Tzimitzi. They're just like sitting in their Eastern European territories where apparently nothing happens whatsoever. Just ignore most of the things that do happen. Or apparently some unaffiliated La Sombra that practically own whole countries that are scary bastards and everybody wants to kill them on sight. But they're like, who needs sects when we're all powerful? You can like take a leaf from their book and like go somewhere calm. Maybe, I don't know, sell your soul to one of the old Clan Tzimitzi and go, hey, do you need like a butler or something? I could make a pretty fine butler. Me too, says Raoul. He emerges from the shadows as a mere few feet away from you. Son of a gun finally managed to sneak up on you. Tamika eyeballs him as he gets closer. You've seen that look before. She clearly asserting her position, but this time it comes off as formality rather than an actual challenge. How long have you been there, Raoul? Long enough. I'm still not buying that whole scarred one bullcrap, but taking a bite out of the Inquisition's collective ass is just too good to pass up. I wanna... Better believe it. I was there. Saw it with my own eyes. I'm sure you saw something. Whether or not it was literal boogeyman they scare young ferals with is a whole different story. And with no due respect, you're hardly a fucking expert on the subject. Now, can we move along? I'm itching to kill some of the sci-fucks. Home. That sounds like an awful idea. That sounds like a great way of getting more Inquisition into New York. Guess we could use the help. Yeah, he deserves to be there. To see the scarred one with his own eyes. Before we murder him. Plus, my brother can be a pain in the ass, but he's one hell of a fighter. My cat's really excited, and I don't know why. Raoul nods, a smile creeping up the corner of his mouth. It's barely visible, but you can tell it pleased him to no end. She might as well have rubbed his tummy. That's so... Why is a Toreador like this? Why do we have to be like this? We don't need to think dog-related things just because we're around gangrels, okay? What are you doing? Why are you excited? Ow! Don't bite me. Stop trying to bite me. There you go. I tickled his butt off my table. Glad we're on the same page. And with that, we leave. Ooh! That's a pretty place. As you get closer to your destination, you get the sneaking suspicion that Tamika's been pulling your leg, following her lead. You take a turn from Broadway into Fort Tryon Park. It doesn't seem to make sense, you think to yourself. There's only one spot between here and Hudson River, but it can't be, can it? Sure enough, as the stone facade of the cloisters comes into view, Tamika motions at you to keep out of sight. How the hell is this well-known tourist trap a head out for the Second Inquisition? I don't know, buildings have basements and shit. Plus, I mean, Second Inquisition doesn't actually need to uphold the Masquerade. They're people. They can work a tourist attraction themselves. And they can look for extra recruits. During the touristy hours as well. They're people. Isn't this place a tourist attraction? Only during the day. At night it serves as staging ground for the Inquisition. But can you, like, imagine a normal building working like that? Because Inquisition has a lot... They have a lot of items and technology and, like, actual body armor and drones and shit. Can you, like, imagine? Like, you go out to your local grocers and then it closes at 10 PM and then it's a military outpost? That would be pretty weird. My sources are to be trusted, they usually are. They brought him here for what they call processing. Doubt they'll keep him here for long though. If we want to get to him, it's now or never. As if on cue, a group of armed guards walks out of the museum, pushing a gurney with a large steel container on top of it. That's a museum? That looks like a castle. As they wheel it out in the open, a truck approaches. The operatives start preparing to load the crate onto the vehicle. Scan the area, trying to take a head count. Tamika beats you to it. I count at least 7, probably more inside. We should do this quietly and take them out one by one. I say we go in guns blazing. Figuratively speaking, if there's more inside, let them come. The more the merrier. Oh god, this is a bad idea. Why don't I talk with the hunters, huh? Wow. Let's try the stealthy approach. Fine, let's do this already before you two bore me to final death. You hardly even notice as Tamika takes out the first guard, not even a peep from him. That's scary. Trying to keep up, Raoul kills the one to your left. Okay, Raoul sounds like he's feeding right now. He's sloppy, takes his sweet ass time bleeding the guy out. Hey guys, I have a better suggestion. You know, you take the neck and you just go... That kills them. With his dying breath, the man lets out a yelp, drawing the attention of one of his comrades. With the guard fast approaching, you ponder your options. Oh, let's choke him out. That sounds like a better idea than slicing his throat with fangs. As the guard walks by, you leap out of the shadows and pull him in a crunching headlock. Opting for a non-lethal approach, you quickly choke the guy out. Just as you're about to move on, Raoul jumps in and plunges his claws into the man's chest. He then turns towards you and mutters a silent reprimand. No witnesses. 3 down. 4 to go. You keep a steady pace, moving across the courtyard, picking off the guards one by one. To be fair, I didn't want to keep him alive. It's more the fact that slicing somebody's throat with your fangs? I understand draining him dry. But that's not what was said. It said slice his throat with your fangs, which sounds like you either did a bite or you legitimately took out your teeth and then... Which sounds like really loud, and as we know, it takes like 5 minutes to bleed somebody to death. Tamika does her part, 3 to go. Raoul gets messy again, at least this time he's quiet. With only 2 of them left, you pick one for yourself and gesture at one of your fellow ferals to take care of the other. Tamika's quieter, but Raoul's closer. Which one do you choose? I'll let Raoul do it. You can see him grinning like an idiot as he sneaks up to one of the guards. The grin soon turns out to be very fitting. Instead of dispatching the enemy quickly and quietly, Raoul gleefully taps him on the shoulder. As soon as the guy turns around, the feral slashes him across the face. Feeling the gooey warmth of his own eyeballs on his cheeks, the man lets out a blood-curdling scream. Startled, the final guard turns towards you. As all 3 of you approach him, the dire reality of the situation hits him like a ton of bricks. Paralyzed with fear, he keeps shifting his aim from you to Tamika to Raoul. He's severely fucked and he knows it, and since you're standing closest to him, you might as well do the honors. Let's be a good vampire. Let's maybe not mess with him a little. That doesn't sound like a Toreador thing to do. You walk over to the quivering mess that mere minutes ago thought himself the toughest of the tough. Before he can react, you slap the gun out of his hands, lean in and smile. Hi! Half a second later, your fangs are already halfway to his windpipe. Oof. Where did you bite? I mean... Yeah, it definitely depends on where you bit. Like... Here? There's just a tiny bit of skin. That's all there is between you and the windpipe. You could, like, take half a centimeter and you would penetrate the windpipe. But here... There's like, what, good 2 inches of muscle? That statement can be correct or can be not correct depending on what you do. Blood tastes sour with a hint of cowardice and regret. Could have gone out with a bang, chose to go out with a gurgle. Oh well. Oof. blood tastes like regret, huh? With the CI operatives taken care of, you turn your attention to the container sitting in the middle of the courtyard. Using your combined strength, you make quick work of the steel door. As you walk in, the moonlight from behind you illuminates a twisted figure huddled on the floor. It's hard to believe that the thing lying before you, beaten and tortured within an inch of his own life, is the same creature you fought back at the cemetery. What the fuck is that thing? What, you refuse to believe? His lips move silently, as if searching for the right words. He looks to you and then turns to his sister as if waiting for a sign. For a moment, Tamika just stands there. He looks down at the scarred one, the once fearful boogeyman whose very mention could strike terror in the hearts of her tribe, and reduced to a whimpering pile of flesh. Finally, she turns to you with a look of childish innocence mixed with confusion. Then she looks back at the scarred one. You can tell that she's lost. Tam, what the hell are you waiting for? Let's kill this thing and get out of here. You sure? Something doesn't seem right. Are you sure that's what you want? Look at him. It's as if he's dead already, in all the ways that matter anyway. Fucking kidding me? We came all this way just to back down now? Stop talking. She's quivering, clenching her fists. You can tell she's about to reach a decision. Look at him, Tam. There's barely anything left. Is he really worth it? Suddenly, the very air around you seems to thicken. You look over Tamika. She's not quivering anymore. She looks down at the mess of flesh and fur, her cuddled at the steel floor. Her voice is calm and quiet. No, he isn't. You both turn to walk away when suddenly you hear a pained yelp, followed by the sound of a body dropping to the ground. Turn back to see Rophe standing over the husk of what was once the mighty scarred one. In one fluid motion, the boogeyman's neck has been twisted off his shoulders. Ugh. Rophe, You had your shot, sister. I took it for you. What's done, done. Let's just get it out of here. Yeah. Let's just get out of here. So who's covering for like 7 dead CI operatives, or are we just leaving that to them? We're just pretending that we didn't do this. Just walk away. There are no cameras there? I hope that there's no cameras there. Look at one another, at the blood staining your hands, clothes, and faces. In the pale moonlight, it appears black and shiny like fresh ink stain on a fresh sheet of paper. It just whiffed. Nothing has happened here. Everything's good. 7 corpses. Without another word, you head back towards the city lights. The journey back takes longer than it did the other way in the other direction. Bits and pieces of the Second Inquisition still stuck to your clothes. Okay, the fuck did we even do? Yeah. Oh my goodness, somebody killed all those people, not us though. The fuck did we even... Out of 7 people, I took 2 targets, right? The first one I choked out. And when as I was walking away, Raoul stabbed him in the chest with his claws, going no witnesses. The second guy I didn't mess with. I ate. Like, huh. When... I mean, I was apparently halfway to his windpipe, which would make fighting location really bloody awkward because this is the closest to the windpipe that you can get, and if you wanted to hit blood vessels, you would go not for the windpipe. I mean, you can go for the windpipe, but that's really awkward. Like, why? When did I get bits and pieces of Second Inquisition stuck to me? There were only 2 dudes. You decide to play it safe by sticking to the back alleys and cutting through the darker corners of the city. I also hope I have a washing machine. Tamika stays several steps ahead. Both you and Rue are quite content to follow her lead. You can tell that these last few nights have taken a toll on her, but not necessarily in a bad way. She seems stronger somehow, confident, more in tune with herself. Yeah, you go, girl. You attuned to yourself by slaughtering people. I am happy that you found that in you. Soon the awkward silence proves unbearable enough that you're willing to risk making small talk with Raoul. You think she's gonna be okay? Yeah, I think so. She's just gotta figure some stuff out. Our lineage, we have special relationship with the beast. We can either let it control us or become attuned to it. It's a constant struggle marked with difficult choices. I think Tam just made one of them, and so did I. Ah! They're back at the park, and Tamika just keeps on walking. And you wanted to call out to her, but Raoul stops you. Not yet. Give her some time to process all this shit. She'll let you know when she's ready. And hey, you did alright. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're still an asshole, but yeah, thanks. See you around. Whoop whoop! Okay. Resty poo time. Ah. It's easy to get paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. All them warm bodies just emanating so much anxiety at me, you have no idea. Actually... okay, actually, despite the... global pandemic and everything, so I never see people. Never see people at all, but I can relate to this. I don't like crowds. But it's not like, oh my god, I am a corpse walking among people. Everybody is gonna kill me now. Which it wouldn't. Like, why would you even think that? But it's like, oh my god, all these people in my space, help me. Get away. Big space. Big space. Yep. Vampires, hunters. Somebody might be tailing us. Oh yeah, it's the opening for the tailing bit. It's something about them non-populated northern countries where you really like get used to actually having your space. So when you're in crowds, you're like, oh, this is people in close proximity to me are giving me anxiety. It's gotten pretty extreme in lockdowns though, because now I see other people acting like that, and it's like, you lived in this country for longer than I have, I think. You might have been born here, I think, so why are you being so paranoid? The last time I went for a walk, which hasn't been this week because moving stuff and that raises my anxiety, I ran into a guy for a second time. The first time he was asking me if I was here fishing or whatever, and he stopped me and he asked, can you talk at me? I was like, yeah, fine. And he asked again, what are you doing in this park in the middle of the night? Because the first time that I saw you, I thought, oh my god, maybe I need to call the police. Maybe something has happened. That people are actually here. Like, he thought to call the police just because somebody else existed in the park in this proximity. And it's like, dude, I take walks here. Like, he takes his runs there. But yet the person that takes their walks there is weird. It's like both are exercise methods. I'm just traveling slightly slower than you. We both just move around in a circle and go our own way. Why are you so paranoid about people? Like, that out paranoids me even. Oh, yep. Kaiser's lackey goes, we should do the thing. And memorize the thing. What's the rush, buddy? Hey, it's your funeral. I can stand here all night and even enjoy a nice sunrise while I'm at it. Not a luxury you have. Send me back the letter once you're done. Yep, we memorized the thing. We went to the restaurant. I'm gonna be very direct. I'm gonna casually recite the phrase. Somebody's watching me, so let me just chat him up. Oh, you do know what this is, don't you? You focus your blood and immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently in on you. What you're about to say. I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to. Grazia. I made people see me say that sentence. For some reason. But anyways, they did see me say the sentence, so there's that. Any ideas what this is? Hey, put that back. I told you before, I don't know what the boss wanted you to retrieve, and I don't want to know. I'll let him know you got it. Wait here. Yep. So go and meet me in the place. Gonna wait for Kaiser, because I don't need to feed right now, because I drained the guy with this was walking his dog recently. I didn't kill him, and then yesterday I ate the Inquisition. He's like, oh, that's the stuff. Tasty, tasty blood. Well, thank you, Mr. Kaiser. Yeah, I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now. Yep, we've returned to Sophie. And Arturo is here. Arturo the Toreador. Not Arturo the Tremere. Okay, what a creep. Wouldn't be so harsh, fledgling. It does take some getting used to, certainly. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. Lowliest primogen, that would be the thin blood one, probably, considering he'd still be a neonate, and he is a thin blood, so there's that. It's useful to have him on your side, even if its eccentricity requires some patience. I had to do him another job. Had to retrieve a bottle for him. Don't worry about it. It will blow over. Excellent. She's happy about things. I'm happy that she's happy. Yep. Wounded War Song. Let's see if Tamika's brain is holding out okay. I hope that Tamika's brain is holding out okay. It's been some time since what kindred historians will no doubt refer to as the Battle of Cloisters. Still no word from Tamika. Maybe it's time you dropped by and see how she's doing. I mean, apparently we gave her a night. Like, half a night, actually, considering that we were sent on a mission half of the last night and then half of this. Yep, we're not very patient. Well, like, she didn't send for us in the morning? What, that wasn't enough thinking time? How was that not enough thinking time? Immediately after you enter the park, you can tell that something is wrong. An odd silence hangs in the air, like a silence from a choking victim after the fight leaves them. Okay! is such vivid imagery. Our Toreador must be like really savage. That is... I tried imagining it and it's just... Every time when I get there, my brain just nopes out of there. It doesn't take you long to find Tamika. You see her in the distance leaning against a tree. As you make your way toward her, she puts her finger to her lips. Only then do you notice the blood dripping from her side. You pick her up, letting her lean on you. She looks at you, her eyes wild with fear and rage. They're here, the Inquisition, they found us. Raoul, he threw them away, saved my ass. He's still out there, we need to go and help him. Tamika Cookie are like really dying on the spot right now. You're bleeding out. You're in no shape to mount a rescue. Screw you! I'm going! You're barely standing. I won't let you get yourself killed. I'm going! You wanna stop me? Might as well kill me now. Let's fucking do this! You head deeper into the park. Soon you stumble upon a set of innocuous barriers. Service vehicles, black and yellow caution tape, men in work suits that keep civilians out of a certain area. It's not at all difficult for a creature of the night to avoid these. You almost think that the presence here is accidental, but once you spot Black Van deeper on, you get a foreboding feeling. Tamika grabs your shoulder and squeezes her. Hold. Here. You have to squint to see it. Two scouts have taken tactical positions between the trees. There's no way in hell you would have noticed them or hidden time if Tamika hadn't alerted you. Body armor, camo, night vision, goggles, rifles, and semi-auto shotguns. Some equipment you can't even name. These guys mean business. There's no time. He's getting ready to pounce on them. Consequences be damned. You need to think and fast. At this point, I would just take out Tamika, honestly. She would hate me for it, but she's probably not that far from just going into torpor, so just smack her in the face, like, just punch her once and she will probably pass out. I'm gonna take one out. Your target falls before he's able to pull the trigger, and Fate Gurgle lets you know Tamika has done her part as well. I hope that she bit him. I hope that she drank his... Yeah, I hope that she got the energy to heal herself. You look over and see her standing over the rapidly cooling corpse of a soldier. Yep. She flicks her wrist, sprinkling the grass under her feet with the man's blood. It's a tie. All things considered, she seems to be doing alright. Keep on moving. Tamika gestures at the nearest patch of trees. Stick to the shadows. Take him one at a time. Sound advice, take it to heart as you move on towards Tamika's haven. It doesn't take long for you to run across more of them. 3 operatives in full riot gear are running down a park alley, sweeping the area with barrel-mounted flashlights. Keeping very still and very quiet, you wait for them to approach. Tamika watches you from the bushes nearby, clearly waiting to follow your lead. I'm gonna try to take out 2 because Tamika's in no shape to fight. As the first victim marches past, you lunge at him, sinking your teeth in his neck. One sudden motion, you rip out a chunk of flesh from his throat. Quickly, before the other two can react, you run at them full speed. Just as you're about to take the first one out, Tamika pounces from the side, taking him out in an instant. As she lands, she springs back toward the other one. A single slash of her claws, it's all it takes. The man's body falls to the ground. After a second or two, his head follows. You raise an eyebrow at Tamika. She hits back with a roguish grin. 2-1. Okay, she really wanted to make this into a competition. That being said, we just bit the guy's... We bit a chunk out of a guy's neck? Like, seriously? We went full on... No time to savor your victory. A savage yell rings out from across the tree line. You know that voice, Raoul. Tamika throws herself toward where it came from. It's almost unbelievable how fast she moves, considering the state that she's in. barely able to keep up. Mere seconds later, you find yourselves under the cover of a rose bush, giving you a clear view of nearby clearing. Off in the distance, you spot a group of gunmen cowering? Slowly but surely, the circle of hunters closes in on a lone figure struggling on the ground. The figure lets out a pained roar. Looking closely, you realize it's Raoul. Caught in the same steel net you saw used against the scarred one, he struggles frantically trying to break free. With each passing second, step by step, the operatives close in around him. Driven by instinct, Tamika jerks forward to save her brother. She stops herself at the last moment as if reminded you of your presence. Okay, how do we do this? We can't say that we don't, because she's not gonna listen. So fast and fierce. Sounds good. You move in like a two-person SWAT team, staying low to the ground before you finally make your first move. The first two hunters meet their death. Unfortunately, it's enough for the others to notice your presence. So much for the element of surprise. As two men towards you, with their fingers already on the trigger, another two approach you, stabbing a tear with their cattle prods. Cattle prods! Interesting! I'll go for the close combat ones. Going for the low-hanging fruit, you engage the cattle prod-wielding hunters. With some effort, you manage to avoid getting shocked, and within seconds, both of your opponents lie dead on the grass. I want to say that that is only true if we're doing something really horrible, like separating their head from their neck. If we're doing that, then yeah, they're kinda falling dead. Even then, it would take like 30 seconds for them to actually die, so there would still be like consciousness there. That they couldn't really do much, but if we're biting a chunk out of their throat, just to gurgle to death, it would take minutes. And another thing, when you like injure somebody even fatally, doesn't stop them from fighting you? Good question, are we channeling Pisha? Because I mean, we bit a chunk out of somebody's flesh and like spat it, and we're like, he's dead. But yeah, if you do grievous harm to somebody, even if the harm is fatal, like taking a chunk out of their throat would be, it would still take minutes to die, and while dying, adrenaline would kick in. Even if you can't breathe, even if you're gurgling, you would definitely be trying to act, and you would definitely be trying to fight for the most part. So, just so you know, inflicting grievous harm to somebody is actually quite dangerous, even if you're absolutely certain they're gonna die. This is not the only reason not to inflict grievous harm onto somebody. Just that I don't seem really psychotic, but just so you know, just an FYI, you know, thing. Meanwhile, Tamika does her share. She swiftly avoids the gunfire and moves for the kill. 4 bodies hit the ground, 2 vampires are still standing. You both turn towards the last remaining foe. Driven by sheer desperation, the sole surviving soldier stands over Rule and aims his semi-automatic shotgun at his head. Good idea! Good idea! He actually was like, yep, I am gonna keep this one as hostage, which will definitely work. Tamika growls. He gestured at her to stand down. There's no room for mistakes here. Tamika, on my mark. With shaking hands, the gunman looks at you, then Tamika as if warning you not to come any closer. It's mostly for show. He's fucked and he knows it. You bide your time, waiting for the right moment to signal to Tamika. Finally, you see an opening. A split second in hesitation. Before you can make your move, Raoul springs up, grabbing the man's gun. As they struggle, you and Tamika lunge towards the gunman. A shot rings out. Oh no! Raoul's body collapses under the weight of the steel net, his head a gaping hole. The operative looks at you, startled and confused. His eyes widen, seeing Tamika fly towards him, death incarnate. The man's screams echo across the park. She doesn't stop. Not when his intestines are spread on the grass. Not when his eyes turn to bloody holes. Not when his face turns to mush. Only when the screaming stops. Only when it is certain he has met his cruel end. Only then does she stop. You watch in silence as she walks over what's left of her brother. The thing is, he got up. Do that struggle, so it's not our fault if he just stayed down. But Jesus Christ, that is cruel. Whole storyline is so cruel. I mean, in ways, all of theirs are. I mean, the Malkavian one ends with one of them eating each other. But this is like extra. I feel bad for the girl. It's like the level of bad where it's like, listen, girlie, if you were real and if you were in my area, I would offer you therapy even if I'm not licensed. Just so that maybe you have somebody to talk to, because bloody hell would... That makes you a very broken individual. Falling to her knees, Tamika lets out a yell unlike what you ever heard. It's as if she's been possessed by some wailing spirit, a banshee screaming out into the... Yeah, she lost the only person that she had. Her scream echoes across the clearing until finally it all goes quiet. With tears streaming down her face, she looks up at you. It's my fault. Put us in their sights. If it wasn't for me, he would still be... Fuck. Oh God! What is done. Deal with it. You're Toreador. You're supposed to be able to feel emotions, man. She spent like 10 years with that guy, and it was like the only person that she had left after their sire left. She lived for 10 years with that person. It's not what is done, deal with it. Not at this very moment. Not like after 2 minutes of his death. You would say that if you were in the middle of a battlefield. You're not. You're in a park. We need to get out of here. He gets up. A violent shiver runs through her entire body as if she literally is trying to shrug off her despair. Oh, when she looks at you again, she seems far more clear-headed. Right, let's get out of here. Oh, somebody's gonna be dealing with some issues. And for once, it's not me. Hastily yet carefully, you make your way out of the park. You don't stop until you reach a nearby alleyway. Here, in the relative safety of the surrounding darkness, you take a moment to rest. Leaning against the wall, Tamika presses her hand onto her wound. Fighting off the pain, she looks up at you. Let's split up. Less attention. Hunter-spotters on the rooftops. You need help. I know a guy. We'll be fine. Knowing when it's time to fall, you nod and head toward the far end of the alley. After several steps, you look back to see how Tamika is doing. You smile, noticing her absence. Having managed past a couple blocks without incident, you thank your lucky stars and blend into the nightly New York crowd. Hopefully Tamika made it as well. That is like the end of her story. And we're like, hopefully she... What is wrong with us? Like, actively, what is wrong with us? Hopefully she made it. Deal with it. Get over it. You know, at that point, I wouldn't have left her alone for the evening. I wouldn't have left her alone for that sunrise. He's supposed to be the Toreador, not... Is this guy like 3 humanity? Is he unable to recognize suffering in others? Is just like, oh, that's just the everyday day in the park. Is that what happens when Toreadors go out killing operatives? Like, we just killed like enough operatives and we tanked. We tanked our humanity because of it? Is that it? Because that would explain a thing or two. You know what? This is a good place to stop, y'all. I still have the Angelo left. Hopefully we're gonna just do it in the next... Man, that's one cruel visual novel. Didn't feel like that the first play around, because probably... I mean, the Tremere story is fairly benign compared to this. I'm just really mad. Not that Rule's dead. Not that the Psy operatives, because we did attack them, so duh, things were gonna get down. I'm mad at our own character and his lack of understanding on how emotions work. To a point where somebody that has been a vampire for 10 years is clearly in high emotional distress, as well as physical. To a point where she shivers, trying to shake off her emotions in order to just continue going. We have been a vampire for like 7 days. And we're a Toreador. And we have entirely forgot how to human. What? How is she... How is she capable of experiencing emotions better than we're capable of experiencing emotions considering our clans? Why are we called son of a bitch? Why would you ever leave anyone in that situation to be alone? It would just be like, no, you're crashing at my place tonight. Right now, because you lost everybody, I literally don't trust you not to meet the sun. I wouldn't trust her not to meet the sun. And yet, we're just like, herpa-derpa, herpa-derpa-derpa-derp. So yeah, we're gonna stop right here. If I have open days this week, maybe tomorrow, I'll see. And I'm not too stressed about the whole moving thing, then I'll go ahead and stream again. If not, then there's always the next time, and there's always the next week. So anyways, thank you for watching, and when we're coming back, we're gonna be wrapping up the Angelo, and really need to talk with Benoit and finish his story, because I didn't the last time. I walked away, and we have time, then maybe we'll replay Hope, in order to see if we can... What would happen if we did absolutely nothing at the end? I really want to see that. Really want to see that. So, there's that. Thank you for watching. This has been your vampire content with me, Myrta. And see you next time. Toodaloo.